So see here in the courage of a dying saint, verse 4. Our soul is exceedingly filled, and that's Psalms 1. You know what? That's Psalms 123. Listen to this. Our soul is exceedingly filled with the scorning of those that are at ease and with the contempt of the proud. But let me tell you, God, I'm at ease. I'm at ease because God took care of me. I thank God. I'm at ease. I thank God for this one. I thank God because here's the verse 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. So having had such experience of God's goodness to me all my days in six troubles and in 7, I will never distrust him, not in the last extremity, rather because all he had done for me was not for any merit or deserving of mine, but purely for his name's sake and his word in performance of his promise and for the glory of his own attributes and relation to his people. The name therefore shall still be my strong tower and shall assure me that he who has led me and fed me all my life long will not leave me at last. And that's God. And when in imminent danger, and though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, that is, though I am in peril of death, and though in the midst of danger, deep as a valley, dark as shadow, and dreadful as death itself, or rather, though I am under the arrest of death, and have received the sentence of death, and within myself have all the reason in the world to look upon myself as a dying man or woman, yet I am eased and easy. And those that are sick, those that are old, and have reason to look upon themselves as in the valley of the shadow of death, here is one word indeed which sounds terrible. It is death, which we must all count upon. There is no discharge in that war. But even in the supposition of the distress, there are 4 words which lessen the terror. It is death indeed. But that is before us. But it is but the shadow of death. There is no substantial evil in it. The shadow is a serpent, will not sting, nor the shadow of a sword kill. It is indeed the valley of the shadow, deep indeed and dark and dirty. But the valley are fruitful, and so it is death itself fruitful, of comfort to God's people. It is but a walk in the valley, and a gentle, pleasant walk. The wicked are chased out of the world, and their souls are required. But the saints take a walk to another world, as cheerfully as they take their leave of this is a walk through it. They shall not be lost in this valley, but get safely to the mountain of spice on the other side of it. This danger made light of it and triumphed over upon good grounds. Death is a king of terrors, but not to the sheep of Christ. They tremble at it no more than sheep do that are appointed for the slaughter. Even in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. None of these things move me. A child of God may meet the messenger of death and receive his summons with a holy security and serenity of mind. The suckling child may play upon the whole of this apse, and the weaned child that, and though through grace is weaned from this world, may put his hands upon this. There is confidence because there is no evil in it to a child of God. Death cannot separate us from the love of God, and therefore it can do us no real harm. It kills the body, but cannot touch the soul. And why should it be dreadful when there is nothing in it hurtful? Because the saints have God's gracious presence with them in their dying moments. He is then at their right hand, and therefore why should they be moved? The Good Shepherd will not only conduct but convey his sheep through the valley where they are in danger of being set upon by the beasts of prey, the raven wolves. He will not only convey them but comfort them in the most time. His presence shall comfort them, and thou art with me. His words and spirit shall comfort them, his rod and his staff. And so, at this point, they shall not fear. It's a comfort to the saints when they come to die, that God takes. He takes over. He knows those that are his, and that he will rebuke the enemy, and that he will guide them with his rod and sustain them with his staff. And the gospel is called the rod of Christ's strength. Psalms 110 and 2. The Lord shall send the rod of the strength out of Zion, and rule through the midst of their enemies. And the people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness. From the wound of the morning thou hast the dew of thy youth. The Lord shall take care of his saints. One thing that I've learned and I've seen, and there is enough in that to comfort the saints when they come to die, and underneath them are the everlasting arms. And from gifts of God, bounty to him, now he infers the consistency and perpetuity of his mercy. And here we may observe how highly he magnifies God's gracious. And he's gracious, and he prepares the table before me. And thou hast provided for me all things pertaining both to life and godliness, and all things that was required for the body and soul, for time and eternity. And one thing that I love about God is that he takes care of us all the way through, from life to death. In Psalms 23, as we continue to read, that I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. Samuel anointed him king, which was a certain pledge of further favor, but this is rather an instance of the plenty with which God had blessed him, or an allusion to the extraordinary entertainment of special friends whose heads they anointed with oil. And Luke 7:46, and I'll just let you guys read that. And I believe that just stayed with him forever. And his cup runneth over, on the part of how David, when he said that surely goodness and mercy shall follow him all the days of his life. I believe that it did follow David all of his life. I believe that it will follow all of us, every saint that leaves this world, every saint that continues to follow God and to believe in His word, that we continue to just allow God to be, and to allow Him to be our leader, for Him to be the good shepherd, the divine shepherd, our Father, our divine Father, our divine Abba Father. And when we get lost along the way, or overwhelmed, or wavering, that we know that we can go back to Psalms 23 and read this in a new light. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restored my soul. He revived, He renews, He regenerates. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. He brings me back when I may have drifted off, Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for Thou art with me. Thy rod and Thy staff, they comfort me. Whatever I'm going through, any illness, sickness, and if it feels like I'm going through sickness, and even if it's at my end, and even if you're fearful, grab a hold of Psalms 23. Hold on to that with dear life, knowing that your divine good shepherd is with you. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Know that if God prepared that table, that even if you're surrounded by your enemies, you don't have no reason to fear. That He prepared that table, and He anointed your head with oil. You're His ambassador, and He put you on that assignment. He will not leave you. Your cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow you. And put your name in there. Goodness and mercy, Lord, shall follow Dawn, follow whatever your name is, all the days of my life. And put your name there. Dawn will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And be blessed. And I hope that you're blessed today as you dwell in the house of the good shepherd, the divine shepherd. And make sure that you hear the right voice and know that it is the good shepherd that you're following. God bless you. God keep you. Love you. Dawn Rogers. Wednesday. Be at peace tonight. Rest well. Good night.